Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Those of you that are here, all 14 of you, 15. Wow. Oh, let's see if anybody actually cares on this Friday morning. Should I start? Should I even start drinking it? I got it. Wow. This is very unusual. I thought that based on the fact that a few seconds ago there was 20 people waiting, now there's 21, maybe YouTube's count is a little off. That happens sometimes too, but it's a little bit perplexing. And Kelsey's probably going along over there, but all right. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for my coffee, so I'm going to pronounce and proclaim and give everybody permission to drink it, if you got it. Michael Pregler says, I've been drinking coffee for 2 hours now. I've been holding off. I've been waiting. Peter wants to know if I'm driving people away. I don't know. Maybe. It's entirely possible. Barry Simon's here. Good morning, Barry. How you doing? Let me give the band the rest of the day off. Good morning, Mitch and everyone. Bacon Runner. Well, TGIF, folks. Let's see if we get a crowd, or maybe it's just YouTube, but I don't know. Maybe I am driving away everybody. Maybe it's time for me to go. Maybe that's a sign. Sign from God. Sign from Gad. Dan Aykroyd used to say. No, I don't think so. People will be here. I think Kelsey's probably going long, and unless there's something going on that I don't know about it. This the entire carnivore community has decided to stage a revolution against me. I don't know, because I pretty well stopped watching. It's very, very perplexing to me. I didn't watch, got up this morning, didn't watch the news because I just can't stand it anymore. I got kind of the headlines on my cell phone. Our government is still shut down. Barry Simon says maybe it's time to plan a Mitch Fest. Yeah, I was talking about that last night on the private community. We had a nice little live stream last night, and had a good time. And we had Tina. Hi, Tina. Good morning to you. And Rick chimed in, and Mark Whistler was here, but not a big panel, but a lot of people in the chat. Most of the regular attendees on Thursday night were in the chat. Michael says the news usually sucks. Rick says Mitch tried to chase away everybody, but it didn't work. Well, I really haven't lost any subscribers of any consequence. So been hovering right about where I am now for a couple of weeks. Had that video yesterday that I put out, got over 6,000 views. So maybe they got the opinion from the thumbnail that I've about had it, which was not clickbait. It was absolutely the truth. Absolutely the truth. And I'm not going anywhere yet, but I think about it. But I've been doing that for a long time. The one thing for me is that if nobody is interested, why should I bother? There's many other things I could do. It'd be a hell of a lot more fun and certainly make a lot more money. I just don't want to give up the friends that I have. So I keep going. I keep going. It'll probably, I'm not going to do it impulsively, that's for sure. I'm not just going to get mad, delete my channel. If I do decide to change, I'm not going to leave YouTube. I mean, I like YouTube. I love doing the drone stuff, but it just got to the point where the drone stuff just became undoable. And that's getting worse every day. You wouldn't believe what's going on over there with the government. And the FCC and the FAA, basically, they just banned the largest manufacturer of drones in the world from selling their products in this country. And now they're talking about revoking the FCC approval that allows all these devices that people have spent thousands of dollars on, revoking to make them illegal, all because they're from China. So I don't know if we're going to go to war with China, a trade war or what, but that's another thing that's headed in a very destructive direction. So I came to Carnivore. Turns out I jumped from the frying pan into the fire because I'm trying to flee controversy, to free censoring and propaganda against us, and I jumped right into one of the most controversial subjects in the health field. While healthcare costs and all that other stuff are going so out of control that they're, without a whole lot of fanfare, absolutely going to ruin the U.S. economy, make it impossible for people to afford to get sick anymore. And I just saw a video this morning. If you all heard about the villages in Florida, do you know what the villages are? 130,000 people, the largest age-restricted community, which spans 3 counties up in Florida. Notorious and famous. Real estate has gone through the roof up there over the last 6 or 7 years. When I was in the computer business a long time ago, it was just getting started in the villages. I even had a store up there. I opened a store up in the villages, and it was great. And it was like it's known for its drunk, partying, retired people, the fastest climbing rate of STDs in the nation, and golf carts. Golf carts. Well, the place is now in big trouble. It's in big trouble. They're having a real estate crash just beginning, which is bound to be devastating. They've got, there was a video, I just watched it. Let me see if I could find it here. It's scary. And the biggest problem that they have is Wait a minute, I'll get it up here. Hang on.
Retirement community has gone from paradise to crisis. The Villages, once hailed for affordability and stability, with over 130,000 residents, now faces a housing market unraveling at record speed. Homes that sold in days now sit unsold for months. Monthly costs have wiping out savings for thousands.
So I'm going to get this back to me. The costs, people moved up there, retired on a fixed income with Social Security, reasonably priced houses, utopia, supposedly secure forever, and now people who are retired can't afford to live there anymore. The cost of insuring the average one of these little villas has gone up to $8,000 to $10,000 a year. The insurance payments now have eclipsed their mortgage payments. The cost of everything has tripled, and people can't sell their houses up there now. Now the housing prices are falling so fast they're upside down, and we're talking about a lot of people and a lot of retired people who are going to be homeless here pretty soon. Out of control. Ironically, many of those people are locked in because of their Medicare Advantage plans, because they can't move. They can't move because all the doctors and hospitals are there, and they're just captive to that. They need their 15 different prescription drugs a day. To move, just to get a mover and relocate, they're estimating would cost them $10,000 to $20,000. Makes me real happy that I'm living in this little double wide down here in Melbourne with none of those expenses. My insurance goes up every year, but it's nowhere near $10,000. I don't have a house payment. I pay a lot rent, which goes up every year, but it's relatively affordable. So I used to feel sorry or bad about not having a nice house, a real house, in a place like the Villages. And I'm glad that I couldn't afford to do it back then. That when I went out of business, I couldn't afford to buy a house anymore. And it's turned out to be a real blessing, because I'm sitting pretty safe, sound, and secure down here, and I got a nice place to live, and I'll drink to that. So that's going on. And anyway, let's get, I don't know what's going on in the news. People are starting to show up. We got 85 people here. I don't know. I think Kilsey was a little off this morning. I saw his thumbnail up there. His thumbnail, this is my YouTube feed that's on my Old Guy channel, not the channel that I normally watch my videos on. This is the one that doesn't have YouTube Premium. So, of course, the first thing up in the corner there, thank you, YouTube, is an advertisement, healthcare.gov. So they're spending money advertising on YouTube for people to sign up with Obamacare. Whoopee. But I don't get those on my regular feed that I watch, because I pay for the YouTube Premium to be without ads. There was Kilsey's stream, and evidently a replay. No, this is just, it's still going. It's a little behind, but it's part of the, they had 136 people there, and they usually get about 160, 70. So maybe it's just, who cares, it's Friday. This is one right here that really interests me. I haven't watched it yet. It just popped up. It says, it's Bart K. And it says, drama. Carnivore doctor versus Anthony Chafee, MD. Drama. Carnivore Doctor, is that Paul Saladino? At any rate, Bart Case chiming in. Got 10,000 views on that live stream and the replay. So, yes, drama does sell. Drama sells. So I'm going to watch that. It's an hour long. I'll probably take a look at it during the day. And another one of these, meat versus veggies. Can food really change your life? Let's find out. I don't know who this is. The Meat Movement is the name of the channel. 962 views days ago. But one thing you notice about this is 860-something views, 380 views, 900 views. These is Curry. Another sponsored. Here's Scott Iverson's appearance with kilts the other day. 599 views. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. It's just indicative of what's going on. That's why I made that video yesterday. I don't know. We're on the wrong track. I saw one this morning. And I don't want to be glum this morning or glum, but I want to just point out a couple of things that just don't make any sense to me and kind of support my observations that how come we're going in these directions? How come we're going in these directions? I was sitting out on my patio this morning waiting for 7 o'clock to come along, and up on my YouTube feed out there, this pops up. And it says, number 24, Carnivore Confessions with Dr. Anthony Chaffee. I said, oh. So I looked down at the name of the channel, and it's not Anthony Chaffee's channel. It says, Wiser with Wine and Anthony Chaffee. And it has 1,700 views. And it came out 7 hours ago. Now, that's still not a lot of views, especially for something with Anthony Chaffee's name and picture on the cover. And then I wondered about who the channel was. And I'm saying, what the hell? Wiser with Wine and Anthony Chaffee. They changed their YouTube channel name just for this video because the channel is a channel about wine. Wiser with Wine. It's 3 ladies who sit around and have conversations about wine. And if you go to watch this thing, their opening little intro is them all sitting there drinking and sipping wine and wine tasting. And now all of a sudden they changed their channel name. Has Anthony Chaffee associated himself with these girls? I didn't watch the video. I just watched it for long enough to say this is not Anthony Chaffee's channel. And is that really what one of the ladies went carnivore, introduced Anthony Chaffee. She's been carnivore for 10 days now. I've been a carnivore for 10 days. I've lost, and they're British or Australian, probably Australian, and I've lost 3 kilos, about 6 pounds, in 10 days. And here we go. I didn't have time to watch it, but I may peek at that a little bit and see what happens. But are we really going there now? Are one of the last bastions of people that I actually respect in this community actually endorsing the drinking of wine? That's what it would lead. That's what you'd believe. So I don't know. We are very confused, and it's so simple. It's so simple. It's so simple. We're talking about everything but what we should be talking about, and talking against things like addiction management and the real cause of all the problems. The real reason why America's sick, the real reason why people can't walk away from the crap that they eat, that nobody can sustain a diet, there's only one cause, and that is people can't stop eating addictive, sugary foods. And we don't talk about that. And then on top of everything else, yesterday on the news, I saw this. And that's when I said, it's over. We're done. Done. Yeah, DJ Magic Man says when channels do a collaboration, they're giving they're given the opportunity to broadcast at their own channel, but neither one of them changes their channel name, goes into YouTube and actually changes their identity on YouTube. You'll find it if it was Anthony Chafee, you'd find the video shown on Anthony Chafee MD channel, and you'd also find a video on Wiser with Wine channel. But neither one of those would have changed their name to say Wiser with Wine and Anthony Chafee. You can only do that once every 2 weeks, and that just would confuse the hell out of everybody else. So when I've done many of those collaborations, like with Curry, and on his channel, my video came up, said Homestead How. On my video, it came up, said Old Guy Carnivore, but it didn't say in the channel name, Old Guy Carnivore and Homestead How. That, I've never seen that done before. So yeah, you're right about that. But that's not why it said that. That's not why. I want to clear it up real quick. My point is that this Wiser with Wine actually changed their channel name just for this one video. Be curious. Not that I'll go back and look, but be curious to see if they change it back. But they won't be allowed. You just can't do it. And ask anybody that's changed their channel name on YouTube. I know that Donna Ray changed it from Main Runner to Bacon Runner. But people who change it, Gary at No Slow became Booby Biscuits for a little while, and he when he told the story of what it was like to try to change it back, it's not something you do lightheartedly, especially not if you've built a brand identity with your channel name. If I changed Old Guy Carnivore to something else, it'd take me a long time to get over the confusion of that. So I don't. But this news article, Trump RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz reveal massive Medicare deal on weight loss drugs. Congratulations, boys. You have just single-handedly changed my opinion of the whole crew, and it's a shame. But you talk about massively caving to the money and the corruption of the drug companies. Is this how we're going to make America healthy again? To make Ozempic more affordable so more people can take it? Is this the direction? Increasing pharmaceutical companies' sales and customer base of people that are now locked into them for life with potential side effects that are, is this what we're doing? Evidently, is this going to help those people that were thinking about changing their lifestyle and starting to eat healthy? But why bother now? Because we can just take this injection and eat any of that crap that we want? And the goal really just to lose weight, regardless of how sick you are and how many drugs you need and how often you have to go to the doctors? Is this going to solve anything? I was incensed when I saw this. And it was all these things that I keep seeing every day, and I'm not even looking that hard anymore, to tell you the truth. I'm just not looking that hard. I get so despondent seeing this stuff. I get so despondent seeing this stuff and wonder, it's hopeless. I can't change anything. So I end up saying, well, maybe there's 10 or 20 or 30 people that I see regularly here that are actually managing to improve their health. And the rest of them are still looking for that magic answer. And the only way I can get any views on any of my videos is with drama and clickbaity titles. And that's what I proved to myself again yesterday. Oh, Mitch is going to quit. We got to see this. You know, the only way I could top that yesterday would be to come out with a thumbnail that says, I had another stroke. That didn't get a lot of attention. Not from our community, well, maybe, but certainly from everybody else. I understand that when I had my stroke, it set Twitter on fire in the vegetarian and vegan community, anti-carnivore community. I became the poster child for why you shouldn't do carnivore. And I got a lot of views on my videos back then. But once the drama slowed down and people said, oh, he's all right, you know, they stopped paying attention to me. Rick Perez says Band-Aid treatment plus root cause solution on a back burner forever. Yeah. When the real thing we should be talking about is this thing I'm getting heat about. Blaming it on addiction. So I've kind of put that Carnivore Addiction Spectrum series of videos on hold. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I'm going to finish it off with one conclusion and not try to make it into anything that people might follow. Not a plan, not a series of tests you can take to find out where you fall. I'm going to go back to the fact that I've been doing all along. All my advice that I give on how to heal yourself, how to do this, how to start carnivore, how to stay carnivore, is basically just for people who have admitted to themselves that carb addiction is their problem. I can't sell carb addiction in a world that doesn't think there's anything wrong with eating massive amounts of sugar and promotes it, actually. That's the difference between carb addiction and every other addiction. Every other addiction is portrayed as bad. You got to stop smoking, stop drinking coffee, stop gambling, stop drinking, stop doing all this stuff is bad for you. Stop using heroin, stop using cocaine. And they're Mac Daddy of all addictions, sugar addiction. They say you need to eat more fruits and vegetables, and you need to drink more fruit juice, and you need, you need to just resign yourself to the fact that there is no cure for diabetes. You need more insulin. And if you want to lose weight, the best way to do that is drugs. And nothing pisses me off more than hearing a carnivore doctor pushing weight loss drugs, or a carnivore influencer posting a video that says, here are the 10 cheapest GLP-1 agonists you can buy on Amazon, with our affiliate links in the description below. Wow. At any rate, that's a little summary of the half-hour summary of the state of our carnivore community and the ever-increasing lunacy, contradictions, self-serving influencers, misguided people, scared people, and everybody in between giving advice or finding fault with the other guy. And I'm distancing myself from that. My however many views they get, so be it. My message is my message. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care who comes or doesn't come, who subscribes or doesn't subscribe, who buys me a coffee or doesn't. I just don't care. I can't care. If I continue to care like I have been, I'm just going to quit, because life's too short. And especially at my age, it's getting shorter all the time. So I went out yesterday, had a good day, took a drive, went to the bank for the first time in 8 months, got some sun, feeling better, getting more and more independent, more mobile. I just got to go out after this. I'm going to fill up my car with gas, get my car washed, and maybe even go to a store. Maybe go to a store because I want to get a whole chicken, a whole little roaster, 5-6 pound one, to make a video in that new air fryer that's supposedly that roasts the chicken. But I can't get, Samsung doesn't have them, so I haven't been able to get one. I have to go out to the store and actually go in and buy one. So I do that this morning. And I won't be back on YouTube again until tomorrow night at 9 o'clock in the evening. I like this schedule. Gives me a lot more free time. And I'm trying not to watch all the videos from all the other carnivore influencers. I don't want them to influence me. If I don't have it pretty well down at this point and have my own opinions and my own methods unshakable, I shouldn't be on here telling you what they are. Whatever you do with it, that's up to you guys. Rick's very prolific in the chat this morning, and let's see who was here first. Peter was here last night. Mandy Beddoes, Lady June, how you doing? Mike Seeley, of course. Hi, Mike, how are you? Brian Dish, Michael Pregler. And we have Wayne Herman, good morning, from North Carolina. Mike Seeley Sr. was here, 24 pickles. She can't stay. Well, okay. Lucy Work, good morning to you. Thomas was here. Rick was here. I chimed in. Tina. Hi, Mitch. Hi, Tina. How you doing? And Lizzie here this morning. Robbie Autry's here. And the winner this morning. The winner. In a minute. There it is. Brian Dish. Brian Dish. Congratulations, Brian. Followed by Rick and Lambs and Brenda McIntyre. They were the early birds, the usual gang. And we're over 100 people now, so it's not too bad. Maybe it was a tough getting out of bed this morning. Peter chimed in, and Brian again, and Richard Williams. Williams, how you doing? Peter asked me if I'm driving people away. I'm not trying to drive them away on purpose, and I'm not doing a whole lot trying to attract them either. So, my love it or leave it attitude is probably rising to the surface like it has my entire life. Gary No Slow comes up, member for 14 months, just checking how long I've been a Mitchford for. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate the support, man. Appreciate that. And Super Tune, good morning to all you Mitchfits. Edward Renner, these are the most recent chats. And Loretta chiming in. Everybody's waking up this morning. Cool. Very cool. I guess this new schedule is okay with everybody. The 3 mornings a week, fine with me. The 3 evenings a week, we'll see. The jury's still out, but we'll see how many people show up tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. We had a good turnout last Saturday, great turnout, but that may have just been the fact that it was an impromptu surprise thing and nobody expected, and they wanted to see what was going on. We'll see how quick everybody gets bored with it. If it gets boring, guys, stop doing it. And if the whole channel just becomes nobody cares anymore, like I said, I'm not giving up YouTube. I'm not going to chase my subscribers away. I'm going to try to find another genre that people might be interested in that could apply to a lot of my subscribers, and start talking about not carnivore. Sandy Blythe, remember, for 11 months, almost a year. I didn't even know there was a way that you could do that. You can actually trigger the chat to show how long you've been a member. I'll be darned. That's cool. That's cool. 24 Pickle says, I have to say, for a newbie, and that's great. I'd love to hear what the newbies think of all this confusion and contradiction. It is scary when you read controversial stuff. Should I or should I stop now? I feel so good right now. The best I have. No, you shouldn't stop. But you shouldn't change horses in midstream every day either. Chasing the new shiny thing. You should try to keep it simple. You should not listen to every new thing, every new supplement, every new technique, every new red light hat that has red lights in it. Just eat meat. Follow your instincts. Eat when you're hungry. Try to eat 2 meals a day, 3, 1, whatever you can, whatever's good for you. But stop this 10 meal a day snacks and sugar roller coaster, and go by your body's own clues and start that way and let it work for a few months before you start changing anything. These changes don't happen overnight. Some of them take years before they finally develop. And if you never give them time, I understand there's only so much time, but if the results you're getting are positive, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I very rarely add anything, take anything away, or change anything. Loretta, 12 months. Wow, that's cool. I guess you guys can do that. I'm happy with whatever works for you, Mitch. Loretta, if all my viewers are like my hardcore, I got an email from Lori yesterday. Lori Weitzel, and it was so encouraging and so heartwarming. And it's you guys that keep me here. You guys I come here to see, and as long as I don't see a viewer count of like 12, I'll keep doing it. We're over 100 now, and I think Friday morning is traditionally, in looking back, been off 15-20% from normal. It's Friday. I don't know why that makes it that different, but it just that seems to be a trend, not just on my channel, but on Kiltz's and everybody else's too. So I'm not worried, and I have no reason to worry because I'm prepared to say, give it a shot. Did some good. What's next? I'm not ready to stop working, and I like doing YouTube. I got all this equipment. I got this great studio and all that other stuff, and there's a number of different genres I could go into that I'm knowledgeable on, and that aren't being shadow banned by YouTube, that aren't being poo-pooed by all the corruption and the money in the world, that get hundreds of thousands of views on a video. Maybe not saving any lives or helping anybody, but hell, I don't mind if I'm just entertaining. I'll take it as some kind of contribution. I'm going to pick something that people can't hate, that I don't have to debate anybody over who's right or wrong. Here's a great new camera widget. And you can buy it from Amazon at this link. And let me do a review on it for you. Guys are doing that, making a fortune, getting hundreds of thousands of views, and nobody's demonizing them, saying bad things about them, telling anybody else they're wrong. There's no controversy whatsoever. It's a home shopping club. But I'm not ready to do that. The main thing I get out of this isn't just the activity. It's the satisfaction of knowing that I'm contributing something that I think is useful in spite of the tsunami coming the other way at us. So we'll keep it going for a while. We'll keep it going. At any rate, no, Peter, or the answer is to, am I driving people away? Maybe. Maybe. That was up on the screen for a long time, too. I wasn't paying attention. At any rate, Bacon Runner's here. Donna, how you doing? Nancy Berkey. Rick again. Barry Simon, maybe it's time to plan a Mitch Fest. That'd be great, because most of you don't know it, but I had a visitor at my house the other day. Jerry Voitush. You know Jerry? He's been down here for all of our meetups. Great guy. We get along great, and he has a timeshare in Vero Beach, which is just south of us, south of me here, and he called, and or he emailed me. He hadn't had my phone number, but he emailed me and said, I'm just south of you. Would you like to get together? And I sent him my phone number. I said, call me. And he called me, and he came over the other day at about 1 o'clock. And we sat out on my back porch for 3 hours, and I had a great time. We just talked about all of this stuff and other things, and politics a little bit. I went in and took him in the house and showed him all the studio and all that stuff, and my museum that I have around here of reminders of my past glories. And then we went back out and finished a cigar, and we just had an absolutely great time. And we talked about having a Mitch Fest because of, I get Jerry and Barry and Peter and some of the other people that I know. And we all get together for a day or two of, I don't know, whatever men do when they get together for the day. Or women. Not just men, but women. I think that would be great fun. I have to just figure out what it might entail. But I'm more and more eager to do something like that. Rick wants to have an iguana fest. Well, you would, Rick. I mean, I understand that. You throw an iguana fest to Miami, I might drive down there. You never know. Would that consist of an iguana barbecue in your backyard? I don't know. But I wouldn't try to discourage you. I think a lot of people would be intrigued at the idea. Oh, there's a problem why my slow start. Lewis, hi, Lewis. Lewis says Kilts is still going. Okay, so he went long today, and that's why I'm sitting there by myself at first. But that's okay. I expect that. Julia Mullins stopped watching The Big Influences on Carnivore. When they start that carb stuff, I just move on. Yeah, that's the comment that I've been getting from all of the people who know they're carb addicts, have accepted that fact, and have done whatever, They know that if somebody says to them the carb addiction isn't a real thing, they have to know deep in their heart that it's said like a true non-carb addict. And that's all it is. You can't expect somebody who's not addicted to carbs to understand what it's like. No matter how much you intellectualize it, point out examples of the entire population that can't stay away from a cookie is evidently carb addicted. If they're not, they cannot identify with it. Should be able to identify with it. I can identify with an alcoholic, even though I can't stand this stuff, but I can understand the pull that a substance could have. I've never tried cocaine or heroin, but I certainly am not going to claim, because I'm not addicted to heroin or cocaine that strong, that addiction doesn't exist. When cities are littered with homeless camps of people that are strung out on crack and other drugs like that, or the drunken drivers kill how many people on this road? Yes, those addictions are real. The carb addiction, like I said, all the forces, all the money, all the corruption, all the messaging is designed to make people think carb addiction isn't a real thing, and that those people who are addicted to these, shame on them. It's their fault. They need to grow a pair and get some more willpower. When those of us that are addicted to carbohydrates know we have no conscious control once our subconscious decides we need sugar. And after a lifetime, the only fix for that I discovered is a zero carb diet. Now, I may be moderating a little bit on that statement and dividing the carbs up into different groups, because it's clear to me that the high glycemic, sugary, sweet, or starchy carbs are the ones that people are addicted to. And I doubt that one human being on the planet is addicted to broccoli or lettuce. And even meat contains carbs. So it's possible when somebody who is a severe carb addict says, well, I can add a little broccoli, maybe a Brussels sprout, as long as I don't prepare them with a lot of sugar or anything, and it doesn't seem to trigger my cravings. That's entirely possible. That was going to be a part of my spectrum, how to determine which carbs you can eat without triggering your injection, and that might put you at an 85 or a 90 on the spectrum instead of a 100. And people could be able to moderate, and the only consideration would be, how do you deal with the toxins, anti-nutrients, lectins, and other things. But we've been doing that since the beginning of the human race. Our bodies have pathways and physiology to detoxify certain things, and it's possible. You don't need to be a Nazi carnivore. In that respect, you could maybe enjoy dinner with your family more often and not have to turn down the broccoli. That's thinking along those lines means you're open-minded. As long as you're being realistic, if the answer isn't what you want to hear. But the ice cream, the grains, the starchy vegetables, potatoes, nightshades, sugars, if you're a bad carb addict. Now, if you're an Italian and your ancestry is Italian and they grew up in the Mediterranean, then you are less likely to be a carb addict, because most people that are severe carb addicts have descended from people whose ancestors had to survive long periods of famines and hibernation and cold. And basically, the Italians didn't have to do that. My ancestors did. My ancestors, the route they came into Europe was a northern route through Russia, and they were cold. They were cold, going back 100,000 years, whatever. Well, they weren't migrating into that area. That 50, 60, 30, 40,000 years ago, they survived on meat, and the few carbohydrates they could find were survival food. So I'm genetically engineered, because of my heritage, to be a carb addict. It's important for us to know all of the nuances of why we cannot avoid the third helping of dessert, where somebody else, you put a piece of pie in front of them, they take 2 bites, put the fork down, and go on with things, and leave that half uneaten piece of pie on the plate. That, my friend, is not willpower. That is all physiology and programming. It's great to understand why some people have that kind of programming and some of us have different programming. For the same reason that some people are lactose intolerant and some people are not. Why is that? How can some people are allergic to peanuts? Some people are not. Why is that? Is that something wrong? No, it's just something different. The reason that some people are lactose intolerant, and anybody who is, has to know that their ancestors never had the opportunity to adapt to dairy. That's the difference. Their programming doesn't contain the instructions to produce the enzymes that digest the lactose and the dairy, so that their body doesn't know what to do with it. Other people who may have come from a tribe somewhere or a group of people that were the first to herd cows and start drinking milk, they develop these things out of necessity, natural selection. The people that had the chemistry that could deal with the milk, they and their successors survived. The people that couldn't deal with the milk and couldn't live on that as a food, if that was the only food they had or their primary food, they were never selected forward. And that strain of the programming just died away. That's natural selection. So it's all explainable. The science is there. It's easy to understand, simple, and very obvious once you accept and learn the dynamics of how we evolved. And that's what I've done. And that, to me, all this stuff is just so obvious. It's just right out there. But it doesn't seem to make it into the mainstream, unfortunately. Oh, I digress. Let me look at the chat here. This is going to be, we're going to label this like, who cares, Friday? Barry, yeah, you sound like an addict like me. I would finish the whole pie. That's right. I cannot leave. I can't walk away from this stuff until it's either it's all gone, or I am so sick from eating that much sugar that I get about a 20-minute to a half an hour break from the cravings and the urges to keep consuming it. And if I don't take some kind of action during that time to just make it unedible, throw it in the trash, pour it down the drain, whatever, in a half hour, if I just put it away for later is always about a half an hour. And I'll inevitably always finish it. And then I'll inevitably get my conscious mind back, and I'll inevitably say, what the hell was I thinking? I didn't want to do that. Why did I do that? And I start feeling regret. And then the physical consequences of consuming that much sugar will haunt me for the next week of bathroom adventures, headaches, feeling like shit, joint pain. And I say to myself, I will never do that again. That, my friends, is the story of the first 75 years of my life. And it wasn't until, not keto, but carnivore, wasn't until 0 carbs, no sugar, meat and fat, that my body said, nah, that's the ticket. I guess after about 3 or 4 weeks of that, my body said, you know what? We like this. We have all the things that we need. You know, all that craving shit you've been doing and forcing this animal to go out and hunt sugar, you can stop wasting your energy now. And you put it to sleep. And the cravings go away, and you get food freedom. But you don't lose the programming. It's still sitting there, ready to be executed. And wake up with the first hint. So if you want to cure carb addiction or put it in remission, carnivore is the way to do it. You'll stay in remission as long as you continue to not cheat. If you find yourself still cheating, still unable to resist that stuff, no matter what you do, if you go to a birthday party and you have to confess the next day, well, I ate a piece of cake. If that's you, you're never going to really cure your carb addiction. You're always going to have cravings. Maybe they won't be as strong as they used to be. They will hound you. You will not have food freedom. And the only answer for somebody that's that severely addicted is don't go to the birthday parties. Now, it's terrible on your social life. Don't go out to eat. You have to stay away. Alcoholics have to stay away from bars or parties where everybody's drinking if they're severe alcoholic. So that's just, sorry about that. You have to accept that. I just have to accept it. And I don't go to places where everybody else is eating and drinking. It just makes me feel bad. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not carb addicts. It's just that they don't know it. And they're fat and sick. And they're going to be dead by the time they're 65 years old. Okay. It's their choice. It's their choice. I'm not on a mission to save them. I don't run around with a sign. I don't walk up to every fat person and say, I can help you with that. Actually, I don't want to do that. Tried a couple times. Even when I was asked. The only time I give advice is when somebody asks me. And I never succeeded. Never, ever, ever. Not any long-term success. Not even with my own children. That's got to tell you something. Richard Williams said, how can you be allergic to lactose but addicted to other sugars? It's lactose intolerant. Well, it's possible. It may, maybe the combination of the lactose with certain of the caseins, the proteins in dairy. Maybe the fact that lactose is a form of sugar, because all sugars are a little different. One molecule of this is not here, but there. So it makes it glucose, this makes it lactose, or galactose. Because lactose is a combination of galactose and glucose, if I'm not mistaken. But the three basic sugars that can be reduced down to is glucose, fructose, and galactose. Those are the simple sugars. It may be that having not been exposed, your ancestors having not been exposed to that particular sugar that's in cow's milk, after they were weaned off the breast, that particular enzyme, which is a protein that's coded for in the DNA, had not, in that strain or in that family, ever was there or been selected out over eons. But it's a chemical thing. It's a chemical thing. It's the reason why some people are deathly allergic to peanuts, and most people aren't. It's the reason for all allergies. It's the reason for anything that affects this human but doesn't affect that human. There's so much going on, and there's so many differences in us, which is why the one-size-all advice really doesn't apply to anything in the nutritional community. It's why you can't do a nutritional study. You might be trying to find out if one thing makes a difference, but you don't, there's not enough other things in common between two human beings to be able to rule out, as a confounder, the difference in the results of the study might be something else entirely than the thing that you're actually thinking you're testing for. Because you don't know, you haven't sequenced the DNA of every participant and taken the time to compare it as from a gene to gene or a protein to protein level. You can't do that. There's not enough time or money or computing power in the world to do that. That's why I don't put any credence in nutritional studies. They're all just surveys, epidemiological surveys among people with no memory who lie anyway to tell you what you want to hear. There's no credence to any of that. None of it means shit. The Harvard study that said that red meat causes diabetes doesn't mean shit. It's wrong. It's a marketing piece of propaganda. That's all. That's all it is. And we grab onto that stuff as proof. There's still no proof that somebody whose cholesterol is as high as mine has any bad benefits from it, any bad effects from it. No proof, no tests, no studies, no nothing ever showed that. Discounting the stroke that I had, which had nothing to do with my diet. Nothing whatsoever to do with my diet. It had to do with the medical community and the way they treated my head injury or ignored it until I actually had my brain opened up, my skull opened up, and have a big blood clot removed. That's where my stroke happened. Duh. Even though the doctors have to immediately say, you eat too much meat and that's why I had a stroke. Bullshit. If I have any cardiovascular issues whatsoever, it's because the first 75 years of my life, I was a sugar addict, and I yo-yoed up and down and always fought it and ate the standard American diet or worse most of the time. And plaque takes years and years and years and years to build. It doesn't build in 2 years or 3 years on a carnivore diet from nothing. So I got news for you. The carnivore diet may be keeping me alive. If I had kept going the way I was, I most surely would have had heart disease. But after the stroke, at my age, I'm still healthier than anybody I know at my age. Healthier than anybody that I know. Most people my age, or half of them, or more than half, are already dead. I don't know anybody in my community of 600 and some homes of people over 55 that takes no prescription drugs and is as healthy as me even after the silly stroke. That's all I need to know. They can say whatever they want. I'm not listening. I'm not listening again. Brian is leaving. We are different, so what works for one doesn't work for the other. Exactly. That's why I think it's very important, and I'm starting to push this spectrum concept of the fact that everybody, and there's thousands of different spectrums, which make the odds of us being different 1,000 times what we thought they were. You may be a carb addict, but on this spectrum, on another spectrum, of exercise, you may be totally different. And when you talk about overall health, you got to take into account every little aspect of what could be different, and fine tune whatever you do to yourself. The good news is most of that is on autopilot. We have the ability to self-regulate all of these different systems, which has been fine-tuned over eons by evolution and natural selection. In order to actually, you have to believe that that's a real thing, or you're just never going to be able to. It's never going to be a valid answer. You're never going to get it. I don't care if you're religious, but that replaces the real scientific answer that we finally discovered, or are on the way to discover, with a spiritual answer. And everything is going to just, in your mind, is just going to boil. And don't want you to change your mind. That's what you believe. Good luck. Keep trying to find what is best for you to eat. And wherever you go to find it, if you're that religious, it's going to always end up at God. God designed us this way. God designed us that way. It was God's plan. Nothing we could do will change it. All that evolution stuff didn't happen. The Earth is only less than 8,000 years ago old. Everybody's trying to fool us. Have faith. Fine, I envy you. I wish I could be happy and live like that. I've never been as curious as I am. Done all the digging all my life, just out of sheer fascination and curiosity of how could all this have happened. I started out as a religious kid, Jewish kid in Philadelphia. I was 11 years old when I jumped to the conclusion that that can't possibly be true. It's just impossible. And I started hunting for the answer. I started reading Bibles, this Bible, that Bible. The Quran, I read the Quran. I just found too many contradictions, too many things that couldn't be true. That was me. Nobody wanted to acknowledge my thoughts back then. I was ostracized. But that's everybody's different. I never crusaded. I never was a missionary. I never tried to convert anybody. I just, you do you. Okay, good luck. Have a nice life. And I'm still having that attitude. But that doesn't mean that because I took a different path and found what I think are more logical and provable reasons why you can't ignore that jelly donut, and it worked for me. I can't say, well, I found the answer and it really works, but, never mind. Never mind, because your religion has to be honored more than my logic. So I can't do that. And it gets me in trouble. I feel, every time I talk about it, every time I use the evolution word, even though religion and evolution have long since reconciled, the Pope in 1976, I think, said that he sees no conflict between the Catholic faith and the concept of evolution. Some of our biggest influencers in the carnivore space are deeply religious people and talk about evolution all the time. Ben Bigman. The man is as devout as they come. Ken Burry. These people, they don't look down their nose at people who talk about evolution. They talk about it. They know the science. They know that it could not have happened any other way, yet they're still religious. I'm not trying to talk people out of religion, but it gets me in a lot of trouble. Well, my friends, I think I'm going to call it a morning this morning. I don't know what I accomplished. Kind of rambled a little bit. Play a little happy music. Try to just ignore the world for a couple of days. Just ignore the world. May get in my car today. drive to the park and just sit out in nature. Turn off the noise. Turn off the distractions. Eat some meat. Try not to think about all of these destructive things going on in our society. Hang on to the hope, the tiniest glimmer of hope, that somebody in Washington, D.C. may come to their senses today and end this stupid government shutdown, which is just giving us more fuel for the fire to point fingers at the other guy. And like I said in my video yesterday, continually just pull us apart. Where both sides are so radical that war is the only answer. You don't have to look very far back in history to find examples of that. And it's the dumbest thing the human race ever does, is they repeat the mistakes of history and expect a different result. And that's the definition of stupidity. And we are being ruled by stupidity. I used to think it would last, that at least the country would last long enough until I was gone. But it's accelerating at such a rate these days in so many areas that I'm now worried that I could outlive the world and be caught up in that apocalypse that they keep making movies about. Glad I'm not 20 these days. Hope somebody gets some sense, puts down the cell phone, takes their head out of their ass, finally realizes nobody gives that much of a shit about you and doesn't need to have a post on social media every 5 minutes about where you are, what you're eating, what you're wearing, what... Nobody cares. And get out of that world and get back into the real world. Open your eyes, look around. I know I'm not preaching to that crowd, but that's what's killing everything and causing this stuff. And maybe we lost New York as a city because of this people with their heads up their butts. We already lost most of our big cities. They've lost most of Europe now. Somebody's got to recognize what's going on and do the hard things if we want to continue to be America at the rate we're going. I'm sad to say I don't think it's going to be around much longer. And I have to start looking out for myself and my family and not caring so much about you guys. And I don't want to do that because I love you guys. Take the rest of the day off, and I'll try to avoid it all and be in a great mood, loving life on Saturday night, and have a party atmosphere. And I'm going to consciously try to not make a list of the things that I really find dangerous and annoying, but let's see if we can have a good time. Take the rest of the day off, my friends, and eat meat.